Hi everyone. I have a few questions to ask you today. First, this general topic is in a question form. Did you say I love you without words during Valentine's Day yesterday? Many are not aware why Valentine's or how did Valentine's come about. And some of them think it's pagan and they say all kinds of things about Valentine's. Well, in my research, and I believe that Valentine's was a real person. Around the 3rd century in Rome, Saint Valentine's was an active pastor, using modern terms, in the church. Now remember, this was a long time ago. And the Emperor Claudius II outlawed marriage. He thought and taught that single men made better soldiers. So he outlawed marriages, kept people getting married. They couldn't get married. Saint Valentine's defied that order and continued to form marriage ceremonies. And when Valentine's action was discovered, Claudius ordered that Saint Valentine's be put to death. There's some of the love stories around Saint Valentine's, but that's how one of the great stories about it and why it began. Now, I ask the question, did you say I love you without words yesterday? Did you say I love you without flowers yesterday? Did you say I love you without a kiss yesterday? Now, why am I asking that? In fact, that's something I've written about over the years. Because if you've never said I love you without a kiss, the kiss will make no sense. If you've never said I love you without words, the words will make no sense. If you've never said I love you without flowers, the flowers will make no sense. And that's something very important to think about, because we think that gift giving is the first step in sharing your love. But listen, hearts and minds are to be connected before lips and hands. That's right. When that happens, there is an explosion of love that is felt in the heart long before the words can utter it. And I'm sure you could remember also, I could remember when I met Anik 42 plus years ago. We were married 41 years, July coming. And I said to her, I love you. And you know when I said I love you for the first time ever to Anik, somewhere around 3 months after I met her, and I met her on October 5, 1975, 8:30 a.m., Sunday morning, under the seat of this convent. 3 months or so later, I said I love you. And do you know, I knew that she loved me, and she never said a word about love. She knew that I loved her, and I never said a word about love. In fact, one day in the cafeteria, this was 10 days after she met me, we were sitting down together while waiting to be ushered to eat. And she was sketching in front of me on a piece of paper, and then she gave me this paper, and I have it to this day. It was a little sketch of two stick people going up a hill, coconut trees, and on the side of the hill, she writes these words that I'll never forget. Now remember, the word love is not in it, but she said to me, "To be with you is my greatest delight." Now, Anik didn't say I love you. And I could have taken that to mean, oh, this is a good start. But it was a good start, although it wasn't I love you. But do you understand what I'm saying? If you gotta say I love you to prove that you love, and that's the only mechanism to use, if you're gonna try and kiss to prove that you love, and that's the only mechanism you're using, then it will not stick. It will not stick. You have to be able to say I love you without words, without a kiss, without a hug, and without flowers. Because if you don't, the flowers will make no sense. The kiss will make no sense. The hug will make no sense. Now, that means the attitude is key here. We must passionately love each other and show it by nonverbal actions. Show it by things we do or do not do that you know your partner does not like. You know, in 1999, listen to what I wrote about passion. And I'm going to read it to you from my article. You can find this on my website, www.soencouragement.org. Listen, are you passionately in love with your spouse? Whenever one has a passion for something, one will do anything to obtain or maintain it. If you have a passion for mangoes, you will drive miles to purchase some. If you have a passion for leather shoes, you will spare no end to purchase a pair, perhaps even to the point of having other needed clothing, not having other needed clothing, all because you have an insatiable passion for leather shoes. It is the same way with relationships. To have a passion for your lover is to unselfishly, unreservedly, unquestionably, unconditionally love and serve him or her. Do you realize that some people have more passion for leather shoes than they do for their own relationships? Am I mashing a corn here? How do we know that? We know it by the way spouses treat each other. So how do you display passion and connection long before you say, I love you? And let me emphasize again. I love you is not a question. I mean, obviously it's not constructed as a question. It's a statement of affirmation. However, if the other person cannot respond or reciprocate with a similar phrase or statement like I love you or me too, the I love you becomes a question or a painful statement. And it really perhaps will destroy the relationship because hearts were not beating together. So and even will you marry me? You know, will you marry me is a question in its construction, but it's in its intent. It is not supposed to be a question. It's also supposed to be a statement of affirmation. A statement of affirmation. In other words, when you would have said, will you marry me? You know automatically that the other person will say yes, because that's what you've been sharing and connecting with for a long time. And when the other person says yes, that is also like restating the question, will you marry me? In agreement to it. In fact, what is so juicy today, many couples not even asking formally the question, will you marry me? And they're just talking about and agreeing to get married. And that's a beautiful thing happening today. There's no big party and engagement for many couples. They just know their hearts are beating together, and they gradually and prepare for marriage. So let me give you a few tips on how to connect. One, that is to say I love you without words, or so that when you do say I love you, the words and the kisses make sense. So here is it. Go to bed the same time, at least 3 nights a week. Go to bed the same time, at least 3 nights a week. Sing it. I discovered that too many couples don't go to bed the same time at all. The only time they go to bed at the same time is when they are in a hotel room and they're exhausted at the end of the day and they fall down sleepy in bed. That's a big recipe for disaster. And football season is on, basketball season is on, they get home late at work, whatever. Go to bed at the same time. Another thing is hug passionately for 10 to 20 seconds every day. Hug. I mean, real holding a hug. Not the one the pastor gives you at the door. That wouldn't work. Not this pecking hugging. The holding hug. Every day. Every day. And then another one is kiss. I mean, wet kissing. Not the pecking on the nose and the forehead and the cheek. Wet kissing. Kiss. Tongue and Bahamians say. deep wet kissing for 5 to 20 seconds every day. Try it, okay? Then also, another important thing, come home from work on time each day. Don't stay under the Sabbath-daily tree in the Bahamas or Jamaica, or the, what tree is in Barrington Springs, Michigan? The maple tree, or in South Florida, the palm tree. No, come home from work. Maybe you're not coming home from work because you too much fights at home, so you got to solve that. Okay. Then listen to this one. Another point. Do chores around the house without having to be coaxed, axed, or forced, or always pushed by the other partner. You got me? That's important. Then don't have a nonchalant attitude about saying or doing things, whether it's little projects need to be done. You see the roof is leaking and you say nothing about it. You know the shoe's on the floor and you don't move it. And you're nonchalant about the pain, misery, or frustration of your partner. Okay? That can be a silent killer of romance. And never forget the important days in your relationship, whether it's Valentine's, birthday, Father's Day, Mother's Day, anniversary. There is absolutely no excuse after the first year if you cannot remember these important dates to your partner or for your partner. There's no excuse. We have Google Calendar. You can write a note up in the ceiling in the corner where no one can see. You can ask a friend to call you. There's no excuse. There's no excuse. So these, here's a sweet one. Dance together as often as you can. Oh man, that's sweet. Now, the truth about it, I am not really a good dancer, you know. I love it. And I love it because my wife loves it. Now, she's a dancer, you know. So she got me into it. But once in a while I hold her, and even if it's a dancing on the dime concept. But there's something about dancing with your partner at home when no one is watching. Yeah, because if you do it in public, most of us, or most of the public people, only showing off. They want to impress friends. But when you're watching at home and when you're dancing at home and no one is watching, that changes the chemistry, that changes the picture, and you have to want each other. That's a real big test. So I can go on and on with suggestions, and the list is endless. But all of these are actions without the words, I love you. And you must be able to know that when you kiss, when you hold hands, when you say I love you, that has already been backed up with affirmation, nonverbal affirmation, with praise, that has already been backed up with kindness, reciprocity, gentleness, fulfilling each other's needs, being there for your spouse. So I hope yesterday you did well, and if you messed up big time, you can make up. You can make up, okay? And it is so wonderful to know when the entire family loves each other. And I just thought I will share those points with you. Remember, if you never said I love you, remember, if you never said I love you without words, the words will make no sense. If you've never said I love you without flowers, the flowers will make no sense. If you didn't spend the time requested over the months or years, when the flowers come home, they'll be thrown in the trash, brother. And you waste money. You want to save money? Start loving, brother. If you've never said I love you without a kiss, the kiss will make no sense. Well, think about these things, and remember to go to my website, www.soencouragement, that's SOencouragement.org, for the website Sounds of Encouragement, or you can type Sounds of Encouragement on Google or a search engine, and you'll find me. There are literally 850 to 900 articles, a few videos, and other things that you can enjoy and be enriched. Thank you for watching. I am Barrington Brennen, counseling psychologist and marriage and family therapist. Goodbye.